Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former light heavyweight world title challenger. It is, of course, Mr. Craig Spider Richards. Craig, welcome back on the show, my man.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, man. So we last spoke back in November 2022. It's been a long time. At that time, you were getting ready to fight Ricard Spolotniks in a fight that never ended up happening. Obviously, you didn't fight at all in 2023, but you returned the other week with a nice win. Let's talk about it. You boxed Boris Crighton. Firstly, how long was that fight made for? Because it seemed like it just got announced on Fight Week, or am I wrong?
Yeah, well, it was. I got asked probably about 2 weeks before the fight, well, the Monday before, obviously Fight Week Monday. Obviously, there was talks of me possibly getting a fight in like February or some point anyway, but there was nothing guaranteed. Then the Monday the week before, there was like, look, are you fit enough to fight next weekend on a 10-rounder? Do you want to do a 10-rounder next weekend? I was like, yeah, all right, cool. I've been in the gym. That's cool. And then obviously the next day, after the Tuesday or the Wednesday, he rang back to say, yeah, you'll be fighting Boris Crighton. So I probably got about, 13 days. He probably got about 12 days notice. So, yeah, within 2 weeks, both of us got told.
Yeah, because I watched the fight literally just yesterday. I thought your jab was particularly heavy. It was really nice to see that, and it didn't go away the whole fight. The jab was really heavy. I like the left hook as well to the body that you snuck under his elbow a bunch of times. And obviously, yeah, you got to him in the end, stopping him in the 7th. Crichton had previously gone the distance with Lyndon Arthur on about 48 hours notice, by the way. I think they pulled him out of a hot yoga class. And then he went the distance with highly touted prospect, big punching Callum Simpson. To get him out of there, especially after coming off 21 months inactivity and changing trainer, that's a statement, my friend. Talk me through the fight.
Yeah, well, people were saying that, like, the fact that, like, obviously Lyndon had the 10-12-week camp. His opponent pulled out Fight Week, and then I spoke to Brighton's trainer. He said that he then got the call on the Thursday. They drove down from Scotland in the car to make the weigh-in on the Friday, and then fought on the Saturday and went 10 rounds and was very competitive. I think he even buzzed him twice in the fight as well in that 10-rounder. And then obviously he boxed the other guy on Sky who, he was preparing for that date. He came in, gave him a good 10 rounds as well. And me, I've not been active, been off 21 months, and went in there and just got him out there within 7 rounds with less than 2 weeks to prepare for it.
Yeah, that is a big statement. Like I say, I talked there about the trainer change. You and Peter Sims were super duper close. I'm hoping that relationship's still intact.
Yeah, very amicable. We wasn't like we left on an argument or bad terms. It was just not suitable to continue at the time of doing what we was doing. Like that's why you saw like Tony was there to come and support me ringside with Connor, Cordina, Ryder. And a few of the young boys, George and Maven, that from the gym as well. The whole matchroom gym came down and was sitting literally right behind Shane in the corner, Tony, etc. Yeah. Bless him and his missus, etc. came down and supported me. No, we're very amicable. I still talk to Tony and all the boys and etc. This week in and a week out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could see those guys sat ringside, Craig. Yeah, it was good. I thought, yeah, it must have been amicable. They were all there in support, big number of them, which was nice to see. What has it been like, though, working with Shane Mcguigan, and why did you choose Shane of all people? How did it come about?
Well, I've always watched Shane before I even turned pro. I always noticed him in the corners, like everyone he had in the corners. No, I don't know what he was doing in the gym, but I noticed the game plans he set out for his fighters in fights was always the right game plan. His fighters always got the right game plan in big fights. And me and my cousin used to always notice saying, oh, that trainer, he's good at game plans, ain't he? He's always sends his fighter out with the right tactics. But as we moved on from there, obviously I came into professional game, etc. I looked at everyone who Shane has picked up, and I've seen them always improve. I've never seen a fighter go to Shane and not improve. I've noticed they always get better at Shane's. And sometimes fighters actually decline when they leave Shane's. So I realised he obviously knows what he's doing, and I was obviously been in the gym for the last couple of years with him, helping Crispin and Spiff of a lot of his camps. Obviously, I've been down there to spar Lawrence Okoli, etc. when he was with Shane. And then obviously while I'm in the gym, I'm seeing the gym environment, and sometimes they would give me bits of advice while I'm sparring and telling me what to do and not to do in terms of using my assets the best I could. And I realised he probably was a knowledgeable guy and knew what he was doing. Obviously, when I got to the stage of my career not too long ago where I realised I needed probably a change. Funny enough, I was talking to Shane around that period, and it was just like, "Oh, what you doing?" Basically, I was like, "Look, I'm maybe looking to find that." He said, "Oh, well, you can come down here if you obviously if you need other options. My door's open as well." So I was just like, "Okay." As soon as I'd done a few days with him, I was just like, "Yeah, this is exactly what I thought it would be." He's improving me within days, and I was like, "Yeah, he's a good trainer." And I just from then, like, my mind was made up. We already had a relationship before I joined, and then once I joined, yeah, it just all made sense.
No, it's great to hear, man. And we had Caroline Dubois on the podcast 2 weeks ago. She was saying how you're a great addition to the gym and apparently such a nice guy. She obviously doesn't know you too well. I want to ask, Craig, what's next? I know it's a bit soon. It might be too soon. But right after the fight, obviously Eddie mentioned about you fighting Anthony Yarde in this 5-versus-5 Saudi card. Is that a realistic next move, or is there an alternative plan?
Well, the 5-versus-5 is obviously always up to the matchroom's pick and depends on the weights, and there's a lot of things, variables depending. But it was nice to know that if light heavyweights picked, I'll be their number one choice. So that is a possibility in terms of if their weights picked and my weights picked, and I get a match up, then yeah, it looks like that could be an option. So I'd find out that probably in the next few weeks, couple weeks, if that's my next move. Regarding against who, I doubt it'll be Anthony Yarde, as you know, he's got things with Buatsi back and forth at the minute, and plus me and Anthony Yarde are very good friends as well. So we've always said we didn't really want to fight each other unless it was a millions on the line and world titles was on the line. So obviously if there's other options, we'd always go for the other options than each other. So I don't know if that fight would happen. I don't think that fight would happen with me and Anthony Yarde, but I know that Queensbury's got a massive selection of light heavyweights anyway. So we'll just see how that pans out. I'm not too sure. Obviously, I'll leave that to my manager, the promoters, and see what they come back with for me to my next move.
And I also wanted to get your reaction on a couple of fights in your division that have happened recently. I wanted to get your take on Lyndon Arthur going the distance and losing to Bivol. I'll be honest, I like Lyndon a lot, but I thought he'd get stopped. I couldn't believe he actually went the distance. What did you make of both men's performances in the fight itself there?
Both of the performances was okay. Like, Lyndon done what he needed to do to get through the rounds. Bivol was trying to obviously press the action. Obviously, it's always hard to get a stoppage when someone's obviously that it was a little bit negative. Lyndon was, so it was hard for Bivol to engage with him to get the stoppage. And I think in the 11th round, Lyndon decided to then start trying to engage, and that's when he got dropped. And he realised, okay, yeah, let me get back defensive. It's hard to call because Lyndon made it through the 12 rounds, so he done well in that sense. But then obviously Bivol, you can't take anything away from him because he's won by 13 points out of 12. Towards the 12 rounder, and I think he won by 13 rounds. So you can't win on points any more conclusive than that. 12 round fight, and they're saying you've won by 13 rounds. You can't really be more conclusive. So it swings and roundabouts, ain't it?
And also, I didn't really think it lived up to the hype, but Buatsi Aziz, Buatsi in the end handling business without too much trouble.
Yeah, he boxed quite within himself and won quite comfortably, I felt. Obviously, I'm not sure because of the friendship that Buatsi didn't want to press too heavy on him. But yeah, he boxed well. He showed his elite level that he is. And yeah.
And I wanted to get your take on two fights as well that have been made in your division. It's finally signed and sealed, the undisputed fight, Bivol Beterbiev. Who wins? And how?
Very tricky. Before I would have said Bivol. After Beterbiev's last performance, Callum Smith is a big puncher, good fighter, and he just couldn't put a dent in him. And Beterbiev did what he does as normal. So I think there's going to be a lot of variables going to play a factor in that fight, like the ring size. You know, Beterbiev put an 18-foot ring in with Callum Smith, so he couldn't go anywhere. Bivol's a big mover, so that won't do him any favours. So it depends on the ring size and which one of them turn up on the night.
And then I do like to throw a wild card in because I'm guessing that you're going to probably be asked about Beterbiev, Bivol a million times, so I'm going to throw one in that you probably haven't been asked. It's on a Queensbury show. Ezra Taylor, Willie Hutchinson. Thoughts?
Are they fighting? I haven't watched enough of any of them two. But are them two fighting?
Yeah, they're fighting. But you ain't got to give an opinion if you ain't seen enough of them. That's totally fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen them to give an opinion. So it'll just be a pluck out of the sky and a guesswork.
Okay, no problem. All right, well then that brings us to the end, Craig. I just want to throw it over to you if you got any closing words to the listeners before we let you go. Like I say, good friend of mine, good friend of the podcast, and it's been too long.
Way too long, but I'm back now. Came back with a bang, and I'm looking to make this year count, 2024. Thank all of you, keep supporting me, give me the airtime. Thank you all the supporters who buy merch, you come tickets, support me just vocally on social media, and thank all my sponsors, Elite Fleet Care, obviously Everlast Sports Direct, Sean Printtown, Mill Team. Big up.
There we go. Big up, big up. Listen, Craig, it's great to have you back on finally. Thank you so much for your time. Congrats on your win again, and we'll speak again soon.
Thank you.